So today we're going to do the handover video on the Burstner 690 55 edition. We're going to start on the outside and then we're going to move on to the inside. So firstly, coming over to the passenger side, you've got your fill-up points. In here, you've got your point for your diesel, and then opening up your passenger door, you'll notice on the window you've got your Emm-Bee cab blinds along with your bonnet release catch. Your Emm-Bee cab blinds, all you need to do is simply pinch the little blind tab and pull out the line like so and connect it up onto the magnetic strip. You've got these all around the cab, and typically, and this is a rule of thumb with anything in a vehicle, if it does feel like it's being forced, you are probably doing something wrong, and this is that goes for this here. So these can often get caught at the bottom and tangled, so if it feels like it's being forced, just bear in mind that you're probably doing something wrong. Just reevaluate what you're doing and then go again. To take back, I simply lead from the bottom and then it'll connect into place like so. With the bonnet release catch, we'll undo the bonnet now, and underneath the bonnet, directly in line with the badge, can then lift up the bonnet like so. With the bonnet open, you'll notice that if you're hooking the vehicle up to jump start, you've got your positive outlet onto here. You can see that there's a little plus sign which is just there, and then your negative is just onto the little nipple here on the end, as you can see. They're the main things that you need to know, but just to point out a couple more things, you've got your engine oil here along with your dipstick, which is below. Your engine coolant is next, and then up here is your brake disc fluid, your power steering fluid, and then finally your washer fluid, which is just above. Moving around, you'll notice you've got your awning on this side of the vehicle along with your habitation door. Connected onto this side of the vehicle, as you can see, is your gas point, which is an external gas point. I'll move on to the gas in a minute, but with the gas you need to make sure that all your bottles are turned off when travelling, to avoid, obviously, for safety reasons, obviously, to avoid crashing. So when you're on site, you can turn your bottles on and that'll allow you to feed through. Next, you've then got your fridge vents, which are either side. Do bear in mind that this is where the fridge pulls all of its air from. It'll pull it in to the fridge, and it's that air that is used to cool the fridge. Now, typically, if you've got a sun beating on this side of the van, it's obviously not going to help the fridge out. So if you can, just turn around the fridge, turn around the van rather, so the fridge vents are pointing the other way or in the shade. Next, as I say, you've got your gas locker in here. Your gas locker will hold two bottles, two 11 kg bottles, but I'd personally recommend two 6s as it's easier to get in and out. And it has on here, as you notice, a fitment for an auto gas supply, which if you wanted at a later date, you can refill your gas bottles, and they're just into there. As I mentioned, always keep the bottles off when travelling. Next, at the back, you'll notice that you've got your garage locker. All you need to do is simply unlock these. As you can see, that gains you access to the garage. Located in the garage is the awning pole, which will connect onto your awning with a little T, and then you can wind it out. In the back here, you've got your jack, and located in the back, you've got two leisure battery holders with two leisure batteries in. On the other side, you've got an inflation kit as well, which is just located in there, along with another pocket up here as storage. Coming to the back, you've got your reversing camera, as shown, and another access point into the garage on this side. Now, moving across, you'll notice a little grey pipe on the outside here, and we're just coming over to your first drain down point in the vehicle. The drain down points consist of three main drain downs in the vehicle. You've got your wastewater drain down, which is external to the van, and that is there. Your freshwater drain down, which is on the inside of the vehicle, and your boiler drain down, which is again on the inside of the vehicle. I'll show you how to drain them systems down, but your wastewater rather, as I say, is just below here. As you can see, the previous owner has wrapped this up in this just to insulate the pipe, but you'll notice that you've got a grey little handle up on the top there. All you need to do is turn that, and that'll open the system. On site, you'll have a large grid that you'll drive over. You can then open that, and that'll allow all the water to come out. Now, whilst we're on the topic of drain down points, this goes for all your drain down points. What I recommend is draining the majority of water obviously out into the grid on site, and then as you're travelling home, keep all your drain down points open so all the water gets out of the vehicle. And when storing the vehicle as well, please make sure that you drain all the all the vehicle of water to ensure that there is no water in the system that could potentially freeze. Now coming up, you've got your socket for your 230 volts. So when you're up on your campsite, you can simply connect up to there to get power to the vehicle. Next to that, you'll notice that you've got your truma vent, which is in essence your chimney. That does get very hot, so don't hang anything on there. Do be careful of that. And then on this side, you'll notice you've got your cassette toilet, along with your fill-up point for your fresh water. Your fresh water, all you need to do is unhook this, unscrew it, put your food grade hose pipe in and fill up the tank. And then when it's coming out, obviously you know you've filled up your system. Now coming back to your cassette toilet, what I'll do now is I'll open the system up, put it onto the floor and show you how to operate it. With the cassette locker open, you can see it gives me access to the cassette. To open this, all you need to do, or remove this rather, is push up on this yellow tab and slide out like so. When you are doing that, you need to make sure that the blade on the inside of the toilet is closed to ensure that this removes. I'll go into more depth on that when we go to the inside of the vehicle. So sliding out like so, I'll put it into the onto the floor here so I can show you how to operate it. Once on the floor, you'll notice that you've got a funnel here which will twist out like so. When emptying this, you need to simply unscrew this, press the yellow tab at the back, which releases a vacuum, and all the contents can then flow out. Once you've done that, put a bit of water in there, swill it out, put the cap back on, turn it back into position like so, and then you're ready to put it back in. You have got a yellow tab in here, you don't need to move that, that stays in that position, and that is what makes contact with the blade, which opens and closes the system. When sliding this back in, simply line it up and slide it in like so, so that yellow tab connects back there, and then you're good to go. Moving on to the inside of the vehicle now. As you walk in, above your habitation door, you'll notice that you've got a fly screen here, and just directly above you have your control system. This is where you can control the vehicle from. You can check your levels in terms of your water and also vehicle leisure battery levels, along with activate your pump and the 12 volt bits. So firstly, to turn on, simply click this button for the 12 volt rather, and then you can see you've got a little amber light on there just to indicate that it's on. You'll notice that some of the lights as well in the vehicle have turned on as well. Up here, if you hold this button, this will show you what your vehicle battery is reading. The next one to that is your leisure battery. And then on this side, you've got your freshwater indicator and your wastewater indicator, which is the one below. As you can see, I've nothing in the system as of yet, hence why it's reading nothing. Next to this, you've then got your pump button. You need to firstly make sure that all your water is in the vehicle before selecting the pump. You can then turn the pump on, and as I say, that will activate the pump and begin to pull water through. Once you've done that, you then need to go to all of your taps, and you'll be doing this for when you set up on site. As I say, go to all of your taps, including your shower, turn the tap onto hot, and turn it on. What that's going to do is it's going to pull fresh water from the freshwater tank into the boiler system and then out of the tap. It'll spurt and splutter, and then once it's running steadily, you've primed your system for the hot water. The reason I do it on hot water first is because that makes sure that you get water in the system, in your boiler, so when you come to turn your boiler on, which I'll show you how to do later, it allows the water to get warm. So by the time you come to use it, once you've set up and everything, you've got hot water on demand. Once you've done that for hot water, flick it over to cooled, do the exact same. As I say, this goes for every shower point and tap in the vehicle. And as I say, once it's running steadily, you've primed your system. Now, once you've done that, you can leave your pump on, because on each of your taps, you have an isolation, or micro switch rather, which will activate and deactivate the pump rather, for when you need it. Coming back up to the control panel as well, right at the top, you've got a little alarm button there. Don't let that throw you off. That just basically means that if you have got an error on here, you're getting a little alarm indication. And then next to that, you'll notice that you've got a 230 volt hookup point there, which will allow you to get power to the vehicle. Now coming away from the control panel and into your kitchen area, you'll notice that you've got your hob, which is up here. This runs off the gas, and you ignite that just by pushing in on the little knobs. And then below, you've got your storage, which is here. Coming across as well, you have got your lounge area here, and these two front seats do swivel by selecting or pulling on these little latches here to swing them round. Now, your lounge, as I mentioned on the outside, you have 3 main drain down points, and I've shown you your wastewater. Your fresh water is actually underneath your bench seats here. I'll remove this now for you so you can have a look. Okie dokie. So with the water tank revealed, you can see that you've got a lid on the top here, along with a little drain down point there. To operate this, all you need to do is, if you're wanting to clean the system, you simply remove this red cap so you can get your hand in there to clean it out. And then to drain it down, all you need to do is turn this tap, and that will release the water. Now, in this system, you'll have a little lug. So if you wanted, this water tank will take 120 litres. But for example, if you want to drain down not all of your water, but leave 20 litres in the tank for example, if you're having a cup of tea on the way home, or you're not sure whether you're going to get any water on site for where you are, you can leave 20 litres in here by doing a quick drain down point. How you do that is you turn this system, you'll get to a little lug in the mechanism. You can feel that, and then when you're at that, you can leave it at that point, and it will drain the entire thing down to 20 litres. Now, for example, if you don't want to do that and you're moving off site, and you want to add everything onto the vehicle, you want to remove all the water out of the vehicle, all you need to do is continue past that lug, and that will drain down the entire system. Moving on from the lounge area and into your bathroom, you'll notice that you've got a little concertina here, so this allows you to use the bathroom area as a toilet or either a shower. To do that, all you need to do is push up on this, and that allows the entire system, or door rather, to swing across and connect in. By swiveling the toilet seat, that'll allow this to go all the way here, so you can make use of this space here as a shower. You have then got a curtain to protect the door from water. Pulling this back into position, you can then latch it into the closed position there, and then this leaves you with your toilet. With your toilet, as I mentioned on the outside, you've got something called a blade. The blade on the toilet allows the system to stay open or closed depending on how much, depending on when you are using the toilet system. The blade is located here, and it's this little silver piece of plastic. This should always be in the closed position, but when in use, you need to open it up like so. Open that up, and that'll allow the cassette to open, so all the waste can drop into the cassette. Once you've done that, you need to press the little blue button on the top there to activate the flush. That'll flush the system, and then you need to push that blade back to close it. You should close the blade for 2 reasons. The main reason being it avoids any waste from, or any smells or odours from escaping the cassette, and it also ensures that when you come to remove the cassette, gets you in the habit of closing this so you never end up with it broken. Now, coming back up to your flush, as I mentioned, this is this blue button here. You'll get a red light on here to indicate when it's full, but when you do want to flush the system, you need to obviously have your pump on for that to work. You have a bit more storage up here along with it in there as well, which is worth pointing out. Coming away from the bathroom area, opposite, you've got your kitchen area with your fridge and also your oven and grill. Your freezer is up at the top and your fridge is below. If you open up your fridge, you'll notice underneath you have your points to select. So firstly, you've got your on button. Click that on and that'll activate the fridge. Now, this is called a 3-way fridge because there's 3 main ways to fuel it. You can run it off 230 volt electric, you can run it off gas, or you can run it off a 12 volt system, which is your leisure battery. Your A button stands for auto, and that'll automatically assign whichever fuel you have to the vehicle, just making it easier for you. Now, having said that, when you're going to be using each one, so you'll be using your 230 volt for when you're hooked up on site, you'll be using your gas for when you're wild camping, and you'll be using your 12 volt leisure battery for when you're travelling down the road. Now, a lot of people think that they can run the vehicle off the leisure battery when they're wild camping. However, that is not the case, because you'll simply bleed the vehicle of all of its power and charge, because this does require a lot of energy, as you can imagine. And that's the reason why you'll need to run it off gas. The only time rather when you'll use it off your leisure battery is when you're travelling, because you have got a built-in alternator in this vehicle, which will allow you to power the fridge as you're travelling. Next to that, you've then got a temperature sign and a reset button as well, which is just there. Now, the main thing that you need to know with the fridge is, of course, it's not like a domestic fridge. It's not got the same power to it. So if you want frozen things to be in the freezer and cooled things to be in the fridge, put frozen things in the freezer and cooled things in the fridge. It does a very good job at maintaining the temperature, so do bear that in mind. Coming to the rear of the vehicle, underneath here you've got some storage, and in here you have got your final drain down point. Your drain down point is for your boiler, and it's very easy, as you can see. Up at the top, that is where your boiler is located. Using this little flap here, you'll notice that you've got, it's quite hard to actually see on the video, but you have got two little drain down points in there. There we are, that's a little bit easier. You've got one with a little diamond on the top, as you can see. And then the one next to it, your yellow little tab is in the up position, that is in the open position. Now, to operate this, the little black system with the little blue diamond on the top is your frost protection valve. To open that, you need to turn the diamond, so the blue little nib on the side is pushing out, and the black nib on the inside of the diamond is down. That'll allow the system to open. Next to that, you've then got a boiler point for everything beyond the boiler, and that is, as I say, that yellow little toggle. At the moment, it's in the up position. In the down position, that closes it and allows you to obviously use your system. Now, as I mentioned, you need to make sure that these are all drained down for when you're not using the vehicle to avoid getting frozen water in the system. However, when you are travelling off-site, you can, of course, shut these up and use the vehicle. Now, a lot of people do forget about these things. So particularly if they've, drained the system down and they forget that these exist, they'll come to try and get water out of the vehicle through the boiler, but it just won't work because it'll be draining down here, and this is the reason they will have left one of these open, or both. So don't forget about them. Now, coming above from your drain down point, you'll notice that you've got your trip box here, which gives you all your trip switches, along with a little test button up at the top there with a little T in there to indicate it, which is a good option because, for example, if you're on site and you can't get any power to the vehicle, click this test button, and if these trip, you know that you're getting power to the vehicle, so it's not a fault with the site or the hookup cable you're using, there's a fault with your vehicle. So from there you can then check your fuses and things. So it's a nice little tip, that. Coming up, you've then got your heating system. You'll notice here you've got a little tank heater. So this is your wastewater tank, which is external to the vehicle. You've got a little tank heater in this. Turn that on and that'll activate the tank heater. Below that, you've then two dials for your heating system. The one at the top is for gas and the one at the bottom is off electric. So depending on what you've got, you can then obviously decide which one you want to use. If you've just got gas, you'll notice if you want to heat your water, you've got the option between 40 or 60. Flick it to 40 if you're having a shower, and flick it to 60 if you're washing your pots and pans. In the middle position here, as indicated by the O, stands for off. And then below that, you've got a little gas symbol and a gas and 60 symbol. That'll allow you to, instead of heating the water, the gas, this little flame rather, will allow you to heat just the vehicle itself. Or if you want to heat both the vehicle and water off just the gas, so if you're wild camping, you can flick that all the way down to the bottom. You've then got a dial here, which will allow you to change the intensity of that. Below that is your electric. So if you're hooked up on a site and you don't want to use your gas, you can run it off electric. And it's the exact same just on the electric system. The one little squiggle is about 40 degrees. Two little squiggles is about 60 degrees. That basically implies that it's 2 kilowatt electric and 1 kilowatt electric. So depending on what power output you've got rather. And then below, as I say, you can then, that's for your water, and then below you can run it off your gas. You can run it off for your vehicle temperature and your water on 1 kilowatt electric or 2 kilowatt electric, again depending on what you've got. So that concludes the handover video on the Burstner 690/55 edition. Hope you enjoyed.